Hi everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. This is the 2024 Cadillac LYRIQ. And in today's video, we're going to give you the information to answer the question, do the features match the price? And there's definitely no lack of features here, that's for sure. And in the future, I'm going to do a video comparing this to the Kia EV6 GT, which might seem like a strange thing, but let me tell you one of the reasons why we're going to do that. There's about a roughly $1,000, a little over $1,000 base price difference between those two models. That is crazy. And while this is most certainly not a base model, the price range is still fairly reasonable for what it is. So we're going to dig into this model and see what its features are, what its functionality is, and what you can expect if this is something you want to buy. There may be a lot of things we can say about the LYRIQ, but one thing you cannot say is that it does not look like a Cadillac. It really does. It has that traditional look of at least the last several years. And you're going to find LED lighting. Literally everywhere there is a light located on this model. A very nice, elegant look, even with the front grille as far as, well, I don't know if I'd really call it a front grille because obviously you don't need one. Now there is an active grille down here on the lower portion of the front end. Obviously, that's going to help to keep the battery cool. And as far as the overall appearance goes, a nice, long, sleek front end. It has the right lines on it. Not too much, not too little. The hood does have some nice character lines built into it. But you have this nice section in the middle, and there is a minor little line right here that kind of fades its way up as it goes up towards the hood, the top of the hood, and towards the windshield. Not too much, not too little. It really seems to have a nice, elegant look. And how about tire and wheel size on this model? We're looking at a meaty 265 on our width, a 50 series sidewall. That's part of what's going to contribute to the smooth ride quality this model has. Wrapped around 20-inch wheels in this case. It does have front and rear. This is the first time a model's had it. Well, I shouldn't say this year, but this is the first model that has had a 5-link suspension setup. And as far as your charge port goes, you're going to push the Cadillac logo right there. It's going to pop open. You have a couple of different options. Maybe not a few, a couple is not a few, but a couple of options here as far as what you can do to plug in. You can have a charger put in at home if you want to. A lot of different things that can be done where that is concerned. And all you do to close that is push the button right there. And we're going to have a very nice amount, really the perfect amount, I think. Normally, I know in this day and age, a lot of people don't like chrome, but it seems to fit in here very well, especially with this particular exterior color on the top, down there on the door sills, the lower portion of those doors down there. It just seems to be right. A very nice roof line, the body colored shark fin antenna, and I believe appropriately designed rear roof spoiler, a very sleek looking rear window. Again, it just looks like a Cadillac. I know that may seem a little strange to say that because you would expect that to be the case, but with a lot of EVs out there, they look very different from anything else that is on the market as far as whatever that particular car maker goes. LYRIQ logo right there, 600E4 in this case. That's what we're going to have there. And you can see the sensors down there, a little bit harder to see with this black exterior color, but they are here. And the Cadillac logos in a few different places are functional. This is how you open the power rear door right here, the tailgate or lift gate, depending on what you want to call that. Very easy to deal with. Obviously, you can close that back down by pushing this button. And here's what the remote is going to look like. Nothing out of the ordinary when it comes to a Cadillac, but it has the functionality that I know a lot of you like, especially remote start right there. And your door mirrors are heated and power folding. They're also going to have the turn signal indicators built in, and your blind spot monitoring right there is built in too. And when you walk up and unlock the vehicle, the door handles are presented to you. As you can see, you're just going to walk up and just pull on that. Pretty easy to do. Close that door back up. Same thing with these rear doors back here. And you have the nice large sunroof right here. It is a panoramic. It is affixed in place. So while you do have the power shade, you can move forward or open it up. You can't actually open the sunroof itself. And how about horsepower and torque? Well, that all depends. If you go with rear-wheel drive, you're looking at 340 horsepower and 325 pounds-feet of torque. If you go with all-wheel drive, you jump up to 500 horsepower and 450 pounds-feet of torque. And how about MPG ease? 96 city, 81 highway, 38 kilowatt hours per 100 miles driven, combined would be 89. And how about fast charging times? Well, that all depends. We'll start with the 50 kilowatt DC charger, 1 hour and 40 minutes to go from 10% to 80%. With the 100 kilowatt DC charger, we're looking at 55 minutes. 150 kilowatt DC charger, 53 minutes, and 48 minutes with 350 kilowatt DC chargers. Cargo capacity ranges between 28 to 60.8 cubic feet. You do have a little bit of space underneath the floor here. Now, you won't find a spare tire, which is nothing unusual with an EV. These tires are supposed to be self-sealing in the event of an issue. I would imagine that probably depends on what you actually have to deal with. So if it's a nail, yeah, no big deal. If you hit something big enough to tear a hole in the sidewall, well, that could be a different situation. Just something to consider as far as what it's like to own one of these EVs. You will find cargo lighting here in the rear area. You have a 12-volt power outlet right here. And when it comes to maximized cargo capacity, I don't know how well you can see it on the screen. You do have a little bit of an angle rising on the seats here as far as when you start to work your way forward into the interior. You still have quite a bit of cargo capacity, but I know a few of you asked me about how flat the seats will fold, so that will answer your question. And what will your rear seat passengers find? Well, obviously, very comfortable seating, very comfortable materials, high-end, comfortable armrest right there, and, well, a decent-sized door bin for the model of vehicle or size of vehicle that we have here. Now, one thing, you do not have reclining rear seats. A little bit of a surprise where that's concerned, but no, these do not recline. So in case you were curious about that, well, there's the answer to that question. There is a fold-down armrest with cup holders built in. For you parents out there, something that I think is a benefit is the fact that you have the latch system here without the need to keep up with anything additional, because the covers stay in place. You just flip them up and out of the way like that. That is nice and convenient. Rear seat pockets on both sides, and then we'll take a look at what we have here on the rear of the center console with the air conditioning vents. That definitely will help out your rear seat passengers. And there are a couple of USB ports back here as well. I always wonder why these car makers don't have 3 USB options, simply because of the fact that you have seating for 3 people back here. You can see that by the 3 connections for your seat belts. Just my thought on the matter. But most likely you're going to be driving, so you're going to want to know more about what's in the front seat than you do in the back. So I know a lot of you are probably saying, as you look across the front seat area, the dash area, and see all the design of what we have here with the screens and all this good stuff, it looks very nice, it's very high-end, but what will it cost you to get into this exact model if this is what you want? $67,085 in this particular case. And you see right here that you have, again, those nice high-end materials. We're going to have the comfortable armrest right there and a reasonably sized door bin. The only thing that's missing here, there are all your controls for the power seat, power adjustable seat, everything that you would expect to find here, except for maybe one thing. You only have the heated seat functionality here. We need ventilated too. And we'll take a quick look over here. One thing you might also notice is, well, there's no way to open the glove box. If we wanted to find out if anybody stowed some gloves in there, well, you're going to come here to controls, and you're going to see quite a few different options here, one of which being the glove box. So you're going to push that button, and there you go. You have access to the glove box. Boy, I tell you what, nice materials in there, that's for sure. And then we're also going to have the pass-through right here. A lot of space down there. I think that's very usable in a multitude of ways. And then we'll look up here at the center console. It's really a floating console is what it is. It really has a nice clean look. You do have some gloss black or the piano black finish. I'm not sure that that's in the best place because it's probably going to fingerprint up, at least in this area right here. And then we do have the nice looking cup holders. And if you have a coffee cup or something like that that has a handle on it, there you go. You can put it in one or the other. That takes care of things. There is a button right there if you need to get that piece back in place. And if you're saying to yourself, well, you said there's no ventilated seats. I also don't see a wireless phone charger. Well, it is here. It's just right here in this area in front of the center console where you're going to store several different items. No matter what the situation is, there's plenty of space in there. You can also see that you have additional connectivity options too. So if you were curious where that is concerned, now you know. And I did close the shade in case you were wondering to know or wanting to know what that looks like. And there is quite a bit of space here. The good thing about this nice wide center console is the driver and the passenger can use the lid as an armrest and not get in each other's ways unless you're a big bodybuilder and have huge forearms, something I don't really have. And here on the driver's side door, I likely don't need to tell you about some of the additions that are here for controlling the windows and the side view mirrors and all that good stuff. You also have the control for your power lift gate right there. One thing that at this price point, even though by no means is this the highest you can make, you spend a lot more money on vehicles, but even at a little over $67,000, I think you should have this feature on the driver and passenger side, and that is going to be seat memory. And over here on the steering wheel, on the left-hand side of the steering column, well, we have the control for not only your windshield wipers and running your windshield washer fluid, but also the turn signal indicators or blinkers on the exterior of the vehicle. I know I just lost a lot of you because you're saying, what? I've never heard of that. What is that? My vehicle doesn't have that feature. You're probably wanting me to make a tutorial on that now, right? Okay. I'm being sarcastic, and it's perfectly okay to laugh. Some of you can laugh because you actually do use your blinkers, and those of you who don't laugh, well, start using your blinkers, and then you'll laugh. And right here is the shifter. Simple to use. What do you think about its size and location? Do you think it should be larger? Do you think it should be down here on the center console? I'm always curious to know. Simple to use. Pull back, pull down, and you're in drive, and then you're going to do the same thing again. You can go into neutral or reverse. To go into park, push the button right there. Now, let's take a look at the instrument cluster. And if you don't like this particular look, go over here to the left-hand side. See all of those options right there? This is gauge, but if you like energy, well, there you go. Does that look energetic? Here is map. That's pretty easy to figure out. Assist. Probably don't need to tell you too much about that. And if you're saying to yourself, none of that is clean enough for me, here is your best option because that's what it's called, clean. And the steering wheel mounted controls, that looks pretty clean too, I would say. A nice steering wheel. In fact, it seems to be just right. It's not too thin. It has a pretty thick setup to it as far as its roundness goes. You can wrap your hand around it nice and easily. It's not so thick that if you don't have really big hands, you can't get your hand around there. But I don't know. For a luxurious vehicle, it just seems like you want that to be a little thicker as far as going around the steering wheel like that. Just my thoughts on the matter. And we took a bit of a look at the center screen earlier when we were talking about how you have to go into controls to actually open the glove box. But you can see what all is here. Ambient lighting, all of that is here. And depending on what's available later on, hopefully I'll be able to show you the ambient lighting. It just depends on if my friend's shop is available or not for that. But one thing I did want to show you is the camera views. You don't have to go into reverse to use the cameras. You do see what you have there with the overhead view. There's your front view camera. You also have overhead and then side. You have quite a few different views here. And you can go into your settings right there if you need to. We can exit that. And if I go into reverse, there is our rear view camera. Pretty simple to use, easy to figure out. You do have Google Assistant here, which I'm not going to demonstrate because when I say, hey, well, you know who, I often set off devices in your homes, and I don't want to do that, just trying to be nice. But this is actually a very simple system to use. You can wirelessly pair your smartphone. That's always a good thing. And if you happen to be like Monk, guess what? Adrian Monk, if you're watching this, well, or you're like Adrian Monk, here's what you're actually going to want to use. You have a system right here for controlling everything with the touchscreen based on keeping it fingerprint free. And if you want to select something, let's just say we want to select maps, which I have it on right there. Let's come back here a little bit. We'll just push down on that, and guess what? There we go. There is maps. You also have some one-touch features right there. That may not be the best thing for Monk or people who are like Monk, because you're still going to have fingerprints. But, oh well. It's one of those things. It's there. That's how you use that. And a pretty simple system to use, that's for sure. Very clean. A very clean look, very modern look. What do you think about the interior of this LYRIQ? And by the way, for those of you saying, what about drive modes? Well, here's where we're going to find that. And I like the graphics that we have here. So we have Tour. I'm going to go all the way down to My Modes, and that's where you can customize things depending on what you want. If you live in an area where it snows a lot, you have snow and ice. And if you're feeling sporty, well, there you go. You have Sport Mode. I'm kind of curious to see how this works in Sport Mode. Should be interesting to find out. There is so much here that I could make a tutorial on the screen by itself. If you would like to see that, tell me down in the comments section. And if you're saying to yourself, you know what, I need a little more storage space, there is one more option here as far as that goes. You have the drawer right there that opens slowly. That's kind of a luxurious touch. At least it seems that way. If it opened very fast, I don't know if that would seem as luxurious. And a quick little side note with the interior, I wanted to show you what things look like when it's, well, somewhat dark. It isn't fully dark where I am right now, but close enough. And I also wanted to show you what the dash looks like when you first hop inside. So there you go. I'm going to reach up and hit the button for firing everything up. Is that the proper terminology to use when you have an EV? Probably not. One way or another, whether that's the right terminology or not, here is what everything looks like when it's dark outside, or like I say, as close as we can get. You can see the ambient lighting, which is actually showing up really nicely on my camera, at least from what I'm seeing, so you can see some of the different areas where the lighting is found. And the cool thing is, well, you can change it if you want to. So here are the changes that you can make. And so depending on what you want, well, you can change that accordingly. I'm not going to show you every single color, but just so you can see some of the differences that happen when you make changes. The blue always seems to show up the best. I don't quite know why, but it does. And so there you go. I'm adjusting the glow now. That's over here, as you see on the screen. That's on the right-hand side. And so you can see what's available. If we were in a completely dark environment, well, it would probably show up better. And I also wanted to hop outside of the LYRIQ and show you how everything looks outside. Now, this is one of the things I didn't mention earlier in the video, but I like the fact that the lights start way up here. As far as your taillights go, they're really side lights as well, but the taillights, the lighting working its way all the way up. You can see what you have with the turn signal indicators turned on right there. That's a very nice look. And overall, I tell you what, I think this looks really nice, really modern. And then we'll work our way around to the front. You can see what the headlights and that illuminated grille and logo look like. I hope that's showing up well. I don't really know if I should go all the way into this angle, but I guess we'll try it anyway. I don't want to blind anybody, but that seems to work out okay as far as showing everything from this angle. So for those of you who say, hey Tom, show us what everything looks like from the exterior with the lights on, that is what it looks like. And if you're wondering about, it kind of looks like the flickering effect that I often talk about only is going to be seen through the lens of my GoPro. In this case, that's actually happening in real time. And one other nifty little bit of information I thought you might want to know about. When you turn the vehicle off, with a lot of vehicles, normally it will go back to, say, tour mode, which is going to be right there. But in this case, it stays in sport mode because that's what it was in when I turned the vehicle off earlier. So you don't have to go back in and reselect your driving mode every time you turn the vehicle on. Okay, we're going to go for a test drive here with the LYRIQ. And you know, while it definitely has the get up and go when you need it to get up and go, it may not be the fastest thing on the road, but we'll do a quick little acceleration test here. Not much, because I got someone in front of me up there. Won't take long to catch up to them. Let's try it. Well, that was lackluster. Just being completely honest, but that's the way it goes. You know, once you've had one of these for a while, even if it's something that's really quick, you do it enough times and you get it out of your system. And then it's just, you just drive it. At least that's what my friend told me, who owns this one and owned the EV6 GT we did a few weeks ago. But it's typical Cadillac, that's for sure. Very luxurious, very comfortable, very enjoyable to drive, a very spacious interior for the size of the vehicle. And it looks like a Cadillac inside and out. And there are some things that are not here that you can get as far as features go. You can have Super Cruise if you want that. That's, well, semi-autonomous driving, but this model does not have that. For some people, that's not a big deal. I'm curious to know what everybody thinks about that. Would you prefer Super Cruise or maybe not so much? And like I said earlier, you have a nice comfortable steering wheel here. Overall, the seat's very comfortable, complements the ride quality of being nice and smooth, what you would expect from a Cadillac. And while the technology here, for those of you who maybe have had a Cadillac for a few decades now, and you're saying to yourself, I think it's time to change, but I'm just not sure about all that technology in these vehicles now. In this case, really with any GM vehicle, the technology is easy to use. Even with these Cadillacs, even when you're in a situation where you look at the dash and say, wow, that just looks so complicated and so difficult to learn. It's not in the slightest. So don't let that scare you away. Plenty of space for driver and passengers. You have a reasonable amount of cargo space. With the roof line back there with the rear window, yeah, you do lose a little bit of potential cargo space, but you're still in pretty good shape where all of that is concerned. That's for sure. But a fun vehicle to drive no matter what. And if you ease into the pedal a little bit, you can get a nice little push back in the seat with the horsepower and torque that's available here. Tell me what you think. Do the features match the price on this 2024 Cadillac LYRIQ? Tell me what you think down in the comments section. I'm always curious to receive your feedback. I do want to say a special thanks to my friend who just bought this model for loaning it to me for the day so that I could give you a close-up look and even a test drive, something we hadn't had a chance to do before now with the LYRIQ. And I also want to say a special thanks to each and every one of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video and haven't subscribed to the Vehicle Visionary YouTube channel just yet, please consider doing so. And if you would like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I will see you there.